Okay, so this is mock problem number 4. Okay, again, pause the video and read the problem. So we are given this data about the runs scored by cricketers in some 5 games that India has featured in. So if you notice the input, this is how it looks like. You have to convert this into a dictionary. You have to convert this data that is presented in the form of, let's say, some kind of a table here. Okay, and you have to convert that into a dictionary where the keys of the dictionary are the names of the players, and the values, corresponding values, are the runs scored by them across the games. Okay, so let's go ahead and use this particular example. Let's use this example here. And yeah, so sometimes you might want to comment multiple lines in your code. So I want to comment these 4 lines. One way is to go and add a hash in the at the beginning of each line, but that's time consuming. So what you can do is you can select the whole thing, control A, and then do forward slash. Okay, this is control plus forward slash will comment out all the lines. Now what you can do is, if you again select the whole thing and you press control slash again, forward slash again, it will get uncommented. Okay, so commenting, uncommenting using control plus forward slash, it can come in handy. So what do we have to do? We have to accept input. So how many lines are there in the input? Okay, there are only 5 games, right? So all test cases will have 5 inputs. So I'm missing out on. So am I missing out on something? So I'm sorry. So there are 4 players and there are 5 games. Okay. So there are where is this 4 given? You can assume that all 4 players, the input will have exactly 4 lines. Okay, so I just made a mistake there. So you have 4 lines of input corresponding to 4 players, and all of them have played 5 games. Okay, so that is the idea. So you have to accept 4 lines as input. Let's first write the loop corresponding to that. That will help us do that. So for I in range of 4, okay, I need to accept input 4 times, input of. Okay, it has to be a string. That is clear enough. So split, as usual, comes in handy in many places. So you have to split by comma. So when you have a sequence of comma separated objects, you have to split by comma. So that will give you a list of strings, and you are going to store the list in, let's say, L. Okay, so you have to store the list in L. Now L of 0 is what? L of 0 is going to be the name of the player. So this is the player's name. Now you need to look at the runs scored by the player, right? So the runs scored by the player, okay, will be contained in the list starting from index 1. So this is L of 0, Virat is L of 0, this is L of 1. So L of 1, L of 2, L of 3, L of 4, L of 5. Okay. Now I don't need to specify the end point of the slice. If I start at 1 and then I go till the end, that will give me the list of strings. It will give me a list of strings, but all of them will be what? They'll be storing the runs scored by Virat in five five games. Okay, so this will be a list of strings of length 5. All right, so let me maybe take an example and quickly work it out. So if I split this input string by comma, I'll end up with string containing Virat, comma, string containing 101, string containing 88, string containing 93, string containing 0, and string containing 120. So notice that L of 0 will be Virat, and L of 1 colon will be this sublist. Okay, this list. Okay, once you have this list, what should you do? You have to convert, you have to iterate through the list and convert the string into an integer so that you can add it to some other variable. Let's say total. This is the total runs scored by Virat. Okay, so this is total equal to 0. So for runs, okay, runs is each of these runs, right? So each of these, that's the loop variable here, and each string I'm going to in turn call it runs, right? So it's going to pick up that particular string and put that in runs, the variable called runs. So for runs in L1 colon, I convert runs into an integer. Currently it's a string, but now I convert it into an integer, and then I add it to total, right? Total equal to total plus int of runs. And once I am done with this, what should I do? Notice that I have to create a dictionary. So what is there anything mentioned regarding the name of the dictionary? So there is no mention regarding the name. So let me just invent a name. So let me call it stats. Okay, stats equal to an empty dictionary. I'll call it dict of. I can use this, or I can use, okay, this one, open curly braces, closed curly braces. I can do either of this. I'll stick to dict. Okay, so dict of. So what do you have to do now? You have to create a key value pair in the dictionary. So stats of key is what? Name of the player. The value is going to be the total runs scored by the player. Okay, so this is stats of name equal to total, and you keep doing this for all the four players. And once you come outside the for loop, you can print the stats, you can print the dictionary. So let's run this and see. Directly submit. Okay, 5 out of 5 private tests have passed. So let's go back. Let's go to the test case area, and you'll see what has happened. So don't, this is something that you must know by now. Don't worry about the slash n in the actual output. That's something that you should not worry about. Now let me go back to the problem and solution, and just let's make few minor changes. So notice that this I is not getting used anywhere. Okay, you might have seen me mention this in other videos. So this I is not really being used. Okay, this loop variable is not really being used. So you can actually use underscore in the place of I. So this underscore is used to denote that in this loop, the loop variable is just a placeholder, right? It's just a dummy placeholder, and we are not really using it anywhere in the code. So if this seems confusing, then just ignore it. You can just go back to using for I in range of 4. Okay, so is there anything else that is to be mentioned? I think that is it, right? So this is the solution to problem 4 in the mock.